The tourist thought he could get away with anything. He mocked the royal guard, tossed coins at his feet, and even dared to mess with his horse. To him, it was just a show. Entertainment he felt entitled to because he paid for it. But when the guard broke protocol to save a little girl, everything changed. His response, firm yet flawlessly dignified, not only silenced the tourist, but also brought the crowd to its feet in applause. What happened next was a lesson this tourist would never forget. Let's start from the beginning. It's a cloudy, typical London day at Buckingham Palace. The air is filled with the sound of camera shutters, excited chatter, and the occasional screech of a child who's just spotted a pigeon. Amongst it all, standing perfectly still like a statue, is the centerpiece of the scene, a royal guard. His red uniform is spotless, his posture flawless, and that iconic bearskin hat? Immaculately perched, giving him an aura of authority that demands respect. Respect. Funny word, huh? Because in this sea of tourists, one guy didn't seem to get the memo. Here comes the antagonist. A 30-something man in cargo shorts, sneakers, and a smug grin plastered across his face. He's armed with the modern-day weapon of arrogance, a selfie stick. You can already tell where this is going, can't you? "Hey, check it out!" he shouts to his group, waving the selfie stick like a sword. "Dude's not even blinking. Think he's a real person or just part of the scenery?" His friends laugh, encouraging him. Of course they do. Nothing says group mentality like egging on bad behavior. The man steps closer, eyes sparkling with mischief. "Hey, buddy, smile for the camera. You're not a robot, right?" The guard, of course, doesn't budge. Not a twitch, not even a flicker of an eyelash. His gaze is steady, distant, as if this little clown isn't even worth acknowledging. And honestly, he isn't. But does that stop our friend with the selfie stick? Of course not. Why would it? He's a tourist. He paid for this, didn't he? In his mind, the Royal Guard is just another attraction, like the Tower of London or Big Ben, except this one happens to wear a furry hat. Maybe he needs some personal attention, the man quips, stepping closer. And then it happens, the moment everyone's been waiting for, or dreading. He reaches out, fingers aiming straight for the bearskin hat. The crowd collectively gasps, the sound sharp and unified, like the snap of a whip. Phones go up. Someone's already live streaming. You can hear the murmurs. Is he serious? He's actually touching the hat? Oh, this is gonna go viral. The guard shifts, ever so slightly. It's subtle, but it's there. A tightening of his jaw, a faint straightening of his already perfect posture. Tension fills the air, thick and suffocating. You can feel it, can't you? That silent warning. It's the kind of energy that says, you've gone too far. But our antagonist doesn't notice. Or maybe he does, and he just doesn't care. After all, what's the worst that could happen? He's just having fun, right? It's all part of the experience, isn't it? The tourist crouches dramatically in front of the guard, a twisted smirk on his face. He raises one arm in an exaggerated mock bow, the other still clutching his ever-present selfie stick. "Seer," he drawls, voice dripping with sarcasm. "Your hat, does it come in rug sizes? Because it looks just like the one in my grandma's living room." His friends burst out laughing, phones held high, documenting every second of his idiocy. Because why not? This is comedy gold for them. The guard, of course, remains stone-faced. But you can see it now, can't you? That tension building in his shoulders, the tiniest flicker of annoyance in his jawline. No reaction, though, because he's better than this. The tourist isn't. With a loud clink, he tosses a coin to the ground in front of the guard's polished boots. "For tea," he exclaims, gesturing grandly as though bestowing some royal gift. "Come on, buddy, give us a smile. You're supposed to entertain us, right?" The crowd is no longer united. Some laugh nervously, unsure whether this is funny or just plain disrespectful. Others exchange outraged glances, their whispers growing louder. Unbelievable. Who even does that? That poor man. Isn't this like illegal? But the tourist? Oh no, he's eating it up. He's the star of his own little drama, convinced the world revolves around his antics. After all, he's a tourist. He paid to be here. And if that means treating a centuries-old symbol of tradition like a circus act, well, so be it. And then he goes too far. Spotting the guard's horse a few feet away, he grins mischievously. Okay, fine. No reaction from you? Let's see how your friend feels. He strides toward the horse, phone raised, already angling for the perfect selfie. The animal flicks its ears, clearly uneasy. The tourist, oblivious, leans in close, nearly pressing his cheek to the horse's face. Ah, don't be shy, he coos. Then, with a theatrical flourish, he pats the horse on the nose. Big mistake. The horse jerks its head back, its hooves stamping nervously on the cobblestones. For a split second, it looks like the guard might be unseated. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Phones whip up faster than ever, capturing every moment. And then the guard moves, one sharp step forward. The sound of his boot hitting the ground is like a thunderclap. He raises his free hand, palm out, and his voice rings out, clear and commanding. Back! Behind! The line! The tourist freezes, his smug grin dropping instantly. His friends go silent. Even the crowd is stunned. No one expected the guard to speak, let alone with such authority. The tourist stumbles backward, his phone almost slipping from his hand. His cheeks flush red, embarrassment and fear mingling on his face. The crowd? Oh, they're loving it now. Some cheer, a few applaud. That's what he gets, someone shouts. About time, mutters another. And the guard? He steps back into position, his expression unreadable once more, like nothing ever happened. But for the tourist, it's far from over. Because that moment of humiliation? Oh, it's going viral. And fast. Just as the tension seems ready to snap, a sharp, high-pitched cry cuts through the noise of the crowd. Heads turn, searching for the source. And then, everyone sees her. A little girl, no older than 5, lying on the ground just inches from the guard's horse. She must have wandered off from her parents, lost in the chaos. Now, she's frozen, her tiny hands trembling as she stares up at the massive animal towering over her. The horse shifts nervously, its hooves scraping against the cobblestones. For a moment, time seems to stop. And then the guard moves. Breaking every protocol drilled into him, the soldier steps out of formation and dismounts with practiced precision. It's a sight no one expected. A royal guard, the very embodiment of unflinching tradition, breaking rank. The crowd falls silent. Even the most jaded observers feel a pang of awe. He kneels down beside the girl, his towering figure suddenly gentle and human. Carefully, he lifts her into his arms, his movements deliberate and steady, as if she's the most precious thing in the world. Her wide eyes meet his, and in that moment, the stoic soldier offers the smallest, briefest smile, a glimmer of warmth that melts through the icy discipline. He adjusts her tiny hat, brushing off a smudge of dirt, and carries her back to her frantic parents, waiting at the edge of the crowd. Applause erupts. Real, heartfelt applause, not the sarcastic kind the tourists' antics had drawn earlier. Now that's a hero, someone shouts. He's amazing, murmurs another. But of course, not everyone knows when to quit. Our antagonist, the tourist with the insatiable need for attention, raises his phone again. Got it all on camera, he announces loudly, as if the guard's heroic moment is just another scene in his personal movie. Now this is going viral for sure. The guard turns back to his post, but the tourist can't resist one final jab. Hey, you think you're some kind of hero now? He sneers. This isn't about tradition. You're just doing it for TikTok likes, right? The crowd collectively gasps, their cheers morphing into murmurs of outrage. You can practically feel the temperature drop as all eyes shift to the guard. For the first time, the soldier steps directly toward the tourist. His boots strike the cobblestones with a deliberate, commanding rhythm, and when he stops, he's just inches away, close enough to make the tourist flinch. The guard's voice is calm but firm, each word cutting like a blade. My duty, he says, is to protect and honor tradition, to uphold respect for this place, for its history, and for the people who value it. He pauses, letting the words sink in. Your actions show nothing but disrespect, for yourself and everyone here. The tourist's smug expression falters, replaced by an awkward mix of confusion and shame. Around him, the crowd begins to clap again, this time for the guard's unwavering dignity. The soldier turns away, walking back to his post with the same measured grace as before. The tourist, left red-faced and speechless, lowers his phone. For the first time, he realizes the crowd isn't laughing with him anymore. They're laughing at him. And somewhere in that sea of applause, a quiet truth echoes. Respect isn't demanded, it's earned, and today the guard has earned every ounce of it. The guard's words hang in the air like a hammer poised mid-swing. The tourist, who'd been so loud, so confident, now stands frozen. His mouth opens as if to retort, but nothing comes out. For once, silence from the man who thought he could provoke royalty itself. And then it happens. The crowd, once divided, erupts into applause. A smattering at first, then a wave, swelling into something almost deafening. "Finally, someone said it!" A woman shouts, her voice cutting through the noise. "Respect the traditions!" calls another. A man holding a phone yells over the cheers. "This is going straight to Instagram. Real hero right here." The tourist's face turns a spectacular shade of crimson. He glances around, suddenly acutely aware of the dozens, no, hundreds, of eyes on him. Cameras flash, phones record, and not one is aimed at him with admiration anymore. He shifts uncomfortably, gripping his selfie stick like a lifeline. Then, without another word, he turns on his heel and stumbles away, his retreat as clumsy as his ego is bruised. The crowd parts for him, but not kindly. There are muttered remarks, scoffs, and even a few sarcastic jeers as he passes. "Guess TikTok's not ready for that kind of content," someone quips, drawing laughs from the onlookers. Meanwhile, the guard, as if on cue, steps back to his post. With deliberate precision, he adjusts his uniform, straightens his hat, and resumes his stance. His expression is unreadable, but there's something in his posture, a quiet defiance, a subtle pride that speaks volumes. The applause doesn't stop. It rolls on, an outpouring of respect and admiration, as if the crowd is trying to make up for the disrespect that came before. Somewhere in the sea of faces, the little girl he'd rescued waves to him, blowing a shy, heartfelt kiss. Her parents stand beside her, their gratitude clear in the way they clasp their hands and nod toward the soldier. And then there's the internet. Within minutes, the videos start circulating. Clips of the guard breaking protocol to save the child, his calm but devastating takedown of the tourist, the applause, all of it. Comments flood in. "This is what professionalism looks like. Absolute legend. That tourist thought he was funny? Guess not. Tradition and respect. 1. Entitled tourist, 0. By the end of the day, hashtags like #RoyalGuardHero and #RespectTradition are trending. The clip of the guard's stoic return to his post becomes an instant meme, captioned with lines like, "When you're unbothered AF, but still do your job perfectly." But what of the guard himself? Later, away from the crowd, he steps into a quiet corner to regroup. Carefully, he removes his heavy bearskin hat and wipes his brow. One of his fellow guards approaches, a knowing grin on his face. "Quite the day, wasn't it?" the comrade remarks. The guard smirks, the faintest crack in his otherwise composed demeanor. "Maybe it's time we get smaller hats," he quips, setting his down with exaggerated care. The two share a rare, quiet laugh, brothers in arms finding humor in the absurdities of the day. And as the world keeps watching and applauding, the guard? He simply prepares for tomorrow, because respect, dignity, and tradition don't take days off.